everyone, Karen here, and today I have another shaker card for you. Now this time I'm using one of the circle domes that I bought. Now this is the smallest one, and I'm going to put 3 shakers on the one card. I'm going to make them look like ornaments. So I have 2 of them already made, but I'll make the 3rd one here. Now with these circles, the dies that came with it was a set of circle dies. So the pack of domes that I bought had 3 different sizes of circles. And then you just pick out which one you want. Now, when you're cutting these out and you want to cut it into the paper, if you're not sure which circle is the correct one that you want to use, go ahead and take a piece of scrap and cut it out. And then you can take your dome and you can slide it in there and make sure you have the correct one. Because that's what I did. Because I wanted to make sure that I had the correct one. Now for this little one here, which is 1 1/4 inches, I used the 5th circle from the inside. And then the 6th circle is the one that's going to go on the back, like that. Now I also have 3 bows from my stash, and these are just some little tiny bows that I've had for a long time. I have 3 of those. I have metallic ink. This time I'm using the gold, not the bronze. And let me talk about the card here, because it is going to be a 5x7, but it's going to be a landscape folding card. Basically, this is a 5x7 tent fold card, but I'm going to use it in landscape to open like this, just to make something a little different. I have a piece of gold mirror card, which is 4 3/4 by 6 3/4. I have a piece of red that is 4 5/8 by 6 5/8. And then I have this black and white print paper that's kind of lightweight, that is from Hunky Dory, from a couple of years ago, so I don't think they have it anymore. But this is 4 1/2 by 6 1/2. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to layer this together like this with the gold. And then the ornaments will be hanging here on the front. Now on the inside of the card, I have a 1x5, which was cut from the 8x8 that this was. I have a 4x3 that's already printed with my message. And I have a 4 1/4 by 3 1/4. These 2 will be on top of each other. And this one is going to go like this on the inside of the card. My greeting for the front of the card is a pre-made one from Anna Griffin that I have. And I thought that went well with the elegance of this card. And so that's what I'm going to use. The filler for these shakers is a mixture of rose gold and these white chunky glitter pieces from Watercolor Christmas from a couple years ago from Crafter's Companion. And it ended up looking like this. It's really kind of pretty with the gold. So that's what I'm going to put inside. Alright, so I think that's everything. So let's start over here. So I'm going to start by gluing these 2 together, because this is definitely paper and not cardstock, and I don't want it to bend or tear when I'm putting the thickness of this shaker behind it. So I am going to glue these together. But first I want to trim this just a little bit. I am going to do what you've seen me do before and just dab the ends. Just go along. Just give the card an edge. Just like that. Let's see. Maybe a little more in here. Let's see. That looks good now. I'm going to do the same for the red. All the way around. Dab, dab, dab. And there we go. Now this one's a little bit thicker than the top, so I'm going to put a little more on the top. Kind of even it out a little bit. There we go. And this will go on here, like this. So it will all have this kind of frosted, goldy color. Now because there is only an 1/8 of an inch difference between these two pieces of paper, which will give me a 1/16 of an inch border. I'm going to use my Collel glue, so that way I can slide it into place. It won't grab as fast. But I don't want to use too much glue, since I am going to have to run this through my die cutting machine. There we go. Just like that. Spread this out. And I am going to let this dry for a minute before we do anything else with it. Alright. So while we wait for that to dry, let's go ahead and construct the inside of the card. So we're going to take the 1 by 5, 1.5 by 5, and I'm going to dab the edges of that. And I may do this a little thicker, because the outside of the card is going to have a layer of gold. The inside of the card is not. So I'm going to put this on a little heavier. There we go, like that. There we go. I think that's probably good. Do the same thing with the white. Make it a little heavier in the corner. And this side, let me take a look. A little more in that corner. And I'm pretty happy with that. Now just the red. Alright, one more side. There we go. Alright, now let me glue these two together. Alright, so once again, that's a 4 by 3, and this is the 4 1/4 by 3 1/4. And we're just going to put these two together like that. You see that little gold just really does dress it up. So let me grab my card base and open this up. Make sure we're going in the right direction. So this is going to go about here, and this will go here. Like that. So that way, this space here and this space here will still be the same. So that's why there's not a 2-inch difference and only a 1-inch difference in the white and the red, is because when you put this strip here, that will take up the extra space. And then you just want to put this here to where this and this is going to be the same. So this is a good thing to do if you have an odd shaped piece of paper that you're working with. And yeah, just put a little strip next to it and you can balance it out. There you go. And this will be on here. Now I do have the stars left from my last card. I may put a couple of them on here. Let's see. Well, this all sets up. Just to bring in a little more of the gold. Maybe something like that. Now with the mirror card, I'm going to go back to my tacky glue. Because if that touches the finish, it will ruin it. I bet it's stuck to something there. you go. The inside is all finished. All right, let's put that to the side. Now let's talk about this. I'm going to use my manual machine, so it should be okay. Now what I want to do, let's see, I want to do it this way, because I want it to look like the ornaments are hanging down. Now you need to make sure you don't put them in a weird spot when you have a print like this, where that makes them kind of look like they're floating around and not really hanging ornaments. So I think the one here needs to be kind of low. That one can be up there. And then I need a space for my Merry Christmas. I think something along that. Now remember, this part here will be underneath and we're not going to see it. So I think that looks about right. Because I think if you put them straight, it starts to just look like you cut it into the paper and you're not really trying to hang them in a tree. So I think I will do it like this. And then this will be down here. Because I think that makes it look a little weird up there. I like this better down here. Alright, so now we need to cut the hole. So let me grab some tape. And the first hole will be here in the middle. Need to make sure I don't come too low that I can't put my Merry Christmas in here. So the first hole I'm going to cut about here. Alright. So let me run this through the machine. I'm going to use my MIDI. I think this is my least bent folder. I will put this on here and run it through. Let's see what we have. Move this for a second. Alright, so this will sit in here like this. Just like that. So now I need 2 more holes. I think I said I wanted one over here. So we'll cut that one. And through the machine. And now for the third hole, which I'm thinking one is here, one is here. I want the third one up a little bit more. So I'm going to cut that one about here. All right. Let's see what we have. Okay. So now we need to construct our third shaker, because I already have 2. And this time, I just used the adhesive on the shaker. And I did them ahead of time. I've been shaking them around, and nothing has leaked out. So I'm going to go ahead and use the adhesive on this and not use extra glue. So we're going to put some anti-static powder in here, because we are using glitter and it will stick. I'm going to scoop some of this in here. I'm going to make it pretty full. Move that over there so I don't spill it. I'm going to wipe the edge off. Carefully peel the tape off. And take my circle that I cut out, which matches the size of the shaker dome, and push down. And push down. And there we go. That is it. Easy, easy. Shaker dome. Alright, so now these need to get glued into these holes. So I'm just going to put some of my tacky glue in here. This is going to go in the middle here and press down. Alright. Now if you're wondering, I like to use this neutral pH adhesive by Lineco. It does not warp card. It dries really quick. It's nice and thick. Holds everything in place. I really like it a lot. And this bottle I use came from Karen Burniston. It's one of her fine tip bottles. And the third one. Alright, I'm going to give this a moment to set up. I'm pressing pretty hard. Alright, and I'm going to give that a moment to dry. Alright, this has had a chance to set up. So now I'm going to bring in the mirror card. I'm going to flip this over. I'm going to apply some glue to the shaker domes and all around the card. And we're just going to glue it down. Alright, this will just go right in the middle. And I'm going to press down. Make sure we're all stuck down. Because I am gluing it to mirror card. I want to make sure it's all good and stuck. Alright. I think I'll attach this. I'm going to add some extra glue here. I've had these for a while. Merry Christmas. Now let's attach the ribbons. I'm going to pull this up here because I meant to put these underneath here. Alright, I'm going to put a dab of glue on the top. I'm going to set the ribbon in here. There we go. We'll let that dry. Put a drop of glue here. Put the ribbon right at the top. And let that set for a second. And repeat. Drop of glue. Put the ribbon in it. And let that set for a second. Now the bows I have are gold. I tried red and I really didn't like what it looked like. So I went with gold to match the trim. So I'm going to turn this a little bit and heed my own advice about letting this sit for a second. There we go. I'm going to put some glue on here. I'm going to bend the bow forward a little bit and only put glue here in the middle. And I'm going to put the bow right there on the top. There we go. Alright, now what I want to do next is I have these little gems, and I am going to put one in the center here. Just the tiniest dab of glue. These are tiny. I think that will finish that off just nicely. There we go, just like that. So now I'm ready for the second bow. Put a drop of glue here. Bend my bow forward a little bit. Push that in place. And put the gem on top. And I'm going to turn this around so I can reach this one a little bit better. Dab of glue. Put the bow on. Like that. There we go. Dab on top. Just a little dab. Put the third gem in place. Alright, now we'll let this dry. Alright, so now, big decision time. Do I want these to wrap over the top? You know what, I think they will be just fine like that. Alright, so what we're going to do, I am going to trim these off. I'm going to put a little bit of glue on the back to hold them down. This is the smallest amount of glue that you could absolutely think. You just want a little bit. Whoop, that was not dry. Let me put a little more glue on here. There we go. Should have been a little bit more patient and let this dry all the way. Just a little bit of glue. And I'm putting a little dot on top and dragging it across the ribbon. I just don't want this to be sticking up. Like this, just a little dab, drag it across. Just enough to hold that down. Don't want soggy ribbon. Okay. Now I'm going to flip this over. Some glue. And fold the ribbon over. Now I may end up taping this, just so this can hold until I glue the back. There we go. grab the front and we'll glue this down. Make sure I get some of this ribbon on top of the tape glued. That way we're all set. Alrighty. Now this will go in the center and we will be finished. This is very different from a lot of the other Christmas cards I did. Press this all down. And I will definitely be giving this, half hour or so to dry before I touch it again, just to make sure everything is set. There we go. So there you have it. 3 ornaments looking like they're hanging in a tree. May the joy and peace be with you and your family this Christmas and throughout the new year. There you go. So there we go. The 3 different shaker domes that I bought, using them 3 different ways. And I think the biggest dome absolutely could be a New Year's ball. I'm thinking you can make this. I may put the rest of the gold that I have in here. And yeah, make this a New Year's Eve card. I'm thinking that may happen in the future. Alright, so if you like this card, please give me a thumbs up and leave me a comment. And please consider subscribing to my channel. And until next time, stay crafty.